Next, we are going to have the cost bearer. And the cost bearer is the organizational or departmental unit at RAHOW that has to bear the costs of the complaint and take responsibility for the damage of the customer complaint. The statistical material damage is the value of the complained not in order or not okay material that's evaluated by a moving average price. The amount of not okay or not in order material is going to represent the claimed material price and be expressed in the statistical material damage. Price details is a section of the complaint where the commercial conclusion is going to take place, and that is going to be a section that you are able to edit the customer claimed prices for any additional costs outside of material costs. The product ID is just the material number of the product. A reference transaction is the invoice to which the complaint correlates to. And the transaction history is going to contain the reference invoiced and all created SAP documents in the complaint. Now we'll move into a chart that will outline the usage of Cosima versus Iris, and this is basically explaining when to use Cosima and when to use Iris. Now for now, until Cosima is rolled out to the entire Americas, there is only one situation in which Cosima Lean will be used, and that is if the plant has Cosima rolled out and the sales office has Cosima rolled out. And this is going to be for quality complaints, delivery complaints, non-complaints, terms complaints, everything but PLTs, which we'll discuss in just a sec. So when the plant and sales office both have Cosima rolled out, Cosima Lean is going to be used as the system for complaint management. If the plant doesn't have Cosima, they're still using Iris, and the sales office has Cosima, Iris will be used to file the complaint. If the plant has Cosima and the sales office has Iris, Iris will be used to file the complaint. And in the case of PLTs, no matter what the sales office or the plant has, no matter what the plant or the other plant has, Iris will be used in the case of PLTs. Again, until Cosima is rolled out to all of the Americas and the workflow is created for PLTs. So from those last few slides, here are the major takeaways. The first is that Cosima has a less strict workflow than Iris. There are certain tasks that are going to have to be assigned instead of auto-generated via the workflow like they were in Iris. ABBs, credit note applications, and credit note approvals are done differently. Please refer to earlier on in the video at slide 7 for more information or to review. Cosima uses the same general concepts as Iris, but vocabulary can vary due to the SAP translations. In some cases, Iris will still need to be used until Cosima is rolled out to all of the Americas. Again, that was in the case of PLTs, or if a plant or sales office is still using Iris and does not have Cosima rolled out yet. So the IDM, which is the inside sales coordinator, or the initial recorder of the complaint, is responsible for recording complaints in Cosima Lean and organizing the procurement of documents to be attached to the complaint. They're responsible for allocating deductions to complaints, responsible for completing the commercial settlement or unjustified claims decisions, which are goodwill decisions. They're responsible for involving the responsible buyer for bought-in complaints in the purchasing department. They're responsible for requesting a return shipment and organizing the return shipment with the customer. And they're responsible for verifying information from the customer that's relevant through the result of processing the complaint in the initial recording status. And now the QM function, which is the other major role in filing a complaint, is appointed again based on familiarity with the subject and the severity of the complaint to include the cost and risk liability. They're responsible for arranging immediate actions to minimize loss, deciding on complaint decisions, the justification, the fault source, the return of goods, etc., estimating the occurring costs that are not related to material, whether this be freight costs, sorting costs, or any other outside costs. Responsible for coordinating the decision processes based on comments from subject experts, again involving relative field experts for the technical conclusion or any other aspect of the complaint so that all the information is relevant and accurate. Informing the responsible buyer if it's the supplier's fault to ensure processing with the supplier. Informing the responsible safety committee if there's a possible risk to life, limb, or consequential loss. Involving the responsible RER expert if the legal position of the complaint is unclear. Directly recording the complaint, so they're going to act as the IDM in status 1 if they are contacted directly by the customer and existing communications already exist between the QM function and the contact person on the customer side. And they can complete the technical conclusion if it's appropriate. Again, this can also be outsourced to a new QM function if they are better suited to complete this technical conclusion. So to wrap up this video, we will just review the roles and responsibilities, major takeaways. So the inside sales coordinator, or IDM, is going to record the complaint through status 1 and as well as through the commercial status or the commercial closure during status 4 of the complaint. The QM function will record the complaint through statuses 2 and 3 and complete the technical closure during status 4. The QM function can also change based on competency and magnitude of the complaint, and it can be reassigned as necessary throughout the handling of a complaint. Again, we will go through the remainder of the training and work in the actual system at the rollout. However, this was just a brief introduction video to familiarize you a little bit with the system, to show you what it looks like and get familiar with some of the terminology. If you do have questions on this video, please write them down and we will discuss at the rollout. Thank you.